Thank you, Jonas, for doing this quick interview with us today. Just introduce yourself and how you got into this hobby.
Hi, my name is Jonas Dupuich. I've been growing bonsai for around 31 years, and I started bonsai when, not long after meeting Boon Manakitivipart, who became a friend and teacher. I was working for the family business, a retail nursery, and a stranger walked up to me, introduced himself, and immediately started telling me how to prune the tree I was working on. Before long, I was able to visit his garden, and the moment that really got me actually is he pointed at a tree in the nursery and offered, "Hey, would you want me to style this tree?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, prune it, clean it up. I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about, but go for it." He brought the tree back a week later. It was a black pine. And I remember to this day exactly what the tree looked like. I can see it like it was yesterday. And I remember not liking the tree, but I thought it was really interesting. And really from that moment on, the bugs kind of stuck with me.
Awesome. Did you have any formal studies outside of self-learning?
Boon was my teacher for 20 plus years, and so just a couple years after Boon met, I got really lucky. So I got to work with Kathy Shaner right after she got back from Japan. She had a study group at Boon's house, and before I even had any trees, I could go to the study group and I just helped everyone out. So I'd be the person to hold the tree while someone was repotting it or doing something with it, all the awful uncomfortable jobs. That was my job. But then Boon went to Japan a year or two after that. They hosted Akio Kondo, who came from Japan. I got to learn from Akio for a year. And then when Boon came back, we started Banlin Bonsai, and that was the 20 years really started after that. So huge influence from Boon. And then in recent years, I've been able to work with Daisaku Nomoto for a long time. He comes and stays with me about once a year, and I get to pick his brain, which is awesome. Oh, and then there were 2 months in Japan as well. I spent a couple months when Peter T was doing his apprenticeship at Aichien. I was able to spend some time at Tanaka's garden and had a fantastic time.
Would you recommend that for hobbyists to go experience that idea of apprenticeship in Japan?
If anyone has any interest whatsoever in getting your hands on great trees, finding any garden to work with here in Europe and Japan, it is a ton of fun. I did it kind of part-time, and I know a lot of nurseries offer that. Super duper fun, and it's just a different experience. The more you can interact with really high quality trees, the faster you can kind of learn what makes them tick and how to reproduce their characteristics in your own work.
What is your kind of favorite tree, or what good trees to work on here in San Francisco?
I've been trying to figure that out a lot lately, and my collection's gone through a bunch of shifts. I find that black pines do great, Korean hornbeams do great, coast redwoods do great. And even though they like more heat, actually olives and oaks, the coast live oak, do really well right here. So I've been spending more and more of my time with those species.
And then this is one of my favorite questions now is, if you had a chance to go back in time, maybe 10 or 20 years in the past, and we give yourself one or two advice, what would that be?
Well, all kinds of silly things come to mind. I would have told myself to go and do a full 5-year apprenticeship in Japan. I remember I didn't think I could do it at the time, and in hindsight, it would have been fine. Would have had a great time. But here's a tip that I think will resonate with some people. I had an opportunity to buy some pretty fantastic trees over the years, and I often didn't because I didn't think I had the money for it. I was afraid to spend over whatever felt like a comfortable level to spend on the hobby. I would go back and buy every single one of those trees because the importation rules change from year to year. What growers are around come and go every so many years. And so just because material is currently available doesn't mean it's going to continue being currently available. And so there's a bunch of great trees that I could have had, and I really wish I'd hung on to them. I wish I'd held on to some of the trees that I grew from scratch. That'd be another one. If you've grown trees from scratch over long periods of time, you will know that they start out really cute and fun when they're tiny, and then they go through awkward teenager years. And those are really valuable trees if you stick with it. But due to lack of time, I ended up selling or giving a lot of those trees away, and I wish I had them now. Which actually connects to kind of one of the very last ones, which is I have found that when you're busy and don't have time to work on these things, there's always shortcuts we can take. We always have to water. You don't necessarily always have to prune. And often I will skip things like wiring if I don't have time. Over time, that catches up with you, and you can do a real disservice to a lot of different trees. So if I could go back in time, I would tell myself to call in sick from work, give up sleep, stay up all night long. There were certain good trees that several years in a row received a little bit of neglect. And if I could go back and just a couple touches here and there, I think they'd be in fantastic shape right now.
I know that you have currently written a second book.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about that book? And then if someone wants to contact you about trees or supplies, how would they get a hold of you?
So if you just search for Jonas and Bonsai online, you'll probably find bonsaitonight.com. All of my contact info is there, and you can send me an email. Is the best way probably to get in touch, but I'm on various social platforms. The new book is the Essential Bonsai Book, and I kind of wrote this as a follow-up to the first book. The first book really is focused on introducing people to bonsai and answering the question, what is this thing and how do I make it not die? This is way more concrete. It'll cover everything from how to build a collection that helps you meet your goals in the hobby, helps you design trees the way you want them to look, and then not only does it provide some technical tidbits about how to work on trees, but it has several chapters of case studies so you can learn when and why to apply the techniques to a given tree, so you know if your tree is a good candidate for a given technique.
Awesome. I'll leave the description and I'll leave your contact information in the description if someone wants to contact you that way. Thank you so much for your time, Jonas.
Thanks very much.